Okay, first question. How we met Josh? We both.
Yeah. Tell me if I need to like stop or whatever.
No, just
Okay. So 2 years ago, it's been 2 years now, I was here with Monica Herzig, who's been around, who I think you've mentioned on some of these projects. And we're playing some shows around the area. And she said, we're coming to the studio to record this album. And I remember her saying too, you can stay with us back at the house, or you might be able to stay at the studio. You can decide. As I was like, oh, okay, we'll see what, you know, this studio place is like first, you know, and see. So we came in, we had eaten dinner, I remember, and we had came into the parking here, and you guys greeted us at like 10 o'clock at night and asked if we were hungry. And Claudia brought like a whole meal at like 10 o'clock at night. The whole one. So since then, she hasn't stopped cooking for the last 2 weeks. Since then. And so, of course, I stayed. I decided to stay. So I stayed in the basement. And we did this first project for the, is totally new experience. I got sounds out of the drum set from the recording that I really have never heard so open before. And then we had a very novel project of going back and kind of doing some production to an existing saxophone track on it. So it's very interesting. So, and we've kept in touch since then. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And how have you met each other?
Well, I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go over to Indiana, IU in the States. I was a bit bored back home in Adelaide, as many people are. And so I came over and had 2 years over there to do my master's. And that's where I met Josh. He was just finishing off his undergrad. And we got put into a small combo together, I think, and we decided to make our own trio. And that was maybe 2013 or 14. And it worked out really well. We started making some really good music. We both enjoy the same type of music. We both sort of vibe off each other very well. So we've kept in touch. I had to go home in 2015, but we've kept in touch since then for the past couple of years. Sending songs back and forth, still writing together, which is great. And this is the sort of the second time we've caught up after uni, and it's pretty cool that we get to make a record together and keep it alive. Yeah, it's great.
Great. And these recordings we make, are these your own compositions, and how would you describe your music?
Well, I think, the majority of these are our own compositions. We're going to play maybe 1 or 2 arrangements of songs we've done. Like I said before, we both enjoy the same music, but we both have quite different writing styles. I think Josh is, as a drummer, plays disgustingly tricky rhythms and odd times, which I have to deal with. And I probably have a bit more melodic sort of approach to it and stuff. And but it's great though, because I'll send him some songs and he'll send me his songs, and we both add our own parts to it, and it completely transforms the music. I think me personally, with the songs that we've recorded here, they're somewhat cinematic jazz, lots of ostinatos, lots of repetition, lots of motifs and stuff, which sort of lends itself to that kind of style. And yeah, it's different, but it's good. And Josh's music is, well, Josh can explain.
Yeah, we, and actually the first composition I ever composed was at Indiana, and I had pretty much the sketch of it. We had been playing together for a few months or something, and I brought it to him, and he put his, basically our whole process that we always do, he put his harmonies and stuff to it, and then we came together, and we're actually going to play that song tonight as well, the first one that I ever wrote, so.
Interesting. So my last question is, do you like the idea of turning recordings into vinyl, like we do?
Yeah, I think so. That is great. I think a lot of jazz musicians in particular, these days with Spotify and iTunes, we have millions and millions of albums and songs right at our fingertips. And we miss the old school process of listening to music, which I think you know, these days you'll go on your phone, put on an album, listen to it once, listen to it twice, then there's something else you can get. But back in the day, you know, you go to the shops, you save up your money, you purchase your album, and you come home and you put it on, and as you're listening to it, you read the liner notes, which is something I know you're a big fan of, Michael, but it's just what we don't get with Spotify and iTunes. The liner notes give, you know, more of an insight into the musicians, into the songs they've written and how they've come about it, which sort of gives greater depth to the music the listening experience, I think, which is one factor. And I mean, the sound is completely different, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Josh, I think Josh has been raving about, he's never heard his drums sounding so good. He's talking about all the different depths and levels he's hearing, which he's never heard before, which is from your analog records. He's a big fan.
Thank you. Eins möchte ich noch sagen, und zwar möchte ich noch den Herrn Zettel vorstellen, der aus Balingen, der so freundlich war, uns dieses wunderbare Instrument zur Verfügung zu stellen, speziell für diese Aufnahmesession. Und the story behind, can you tell the story behind? We have this name for the album, and it's very funny. So.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it is going to be the name of the album just because we like the title so much. But we came over to your piano shop, and it was beautiful. He had tuned both the grand pianos there. They were sounding fantastic. I got to have my own choice of grand piano, which is, you know, a bit fancy. So we tried this one, the August Forster, and the Kauai, and this was the winner. It's got a beautiful, warm, rich sound and a beautiful touch. And it's been, yeah, I mean, it's basically brand new, so it's a beautiful piano. And we went in on the Wednesday, and it was supposed to be delivered, I think, from 12 to 5 on the Thursday, because we had the drums set up and the bass, and we were itching to start recording. So we were just sitting there, waiting for the piano to come. And it's called August, and I think Ollie said, "Oh yes, just sitting here waiting for August." And it's got a nice ring to it. We will play the title track.
So thank you very much. Okay.